Good evening, everybody. We have Ron Brown here tonight for one-on-one, and the stream is now available in 1080p. Let's do it.
Let's go.
And good evening, United States Drone Society. How's everybody doing tonight?
Good evening. How are you, Paul?
Good, Chris. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful.
You get a chance to go out flying this week at all?
Yeah, for like 10 minutes.
Hey, you got to get it when you can, though, right?
Yeah, it was raining this morning, and then the sun came out, and I said I had an idea, and I went out and I got this right behind me there, the cranes. There's an offshore wind farm going up in the bay up here in Massachusetts, and they're going to be bringing the parts in from Europe. They're going to by barge, and they're going to be shipped to that location, and there's going to be inspections done on it, and I may have a position doing that, and hopefully I may even get my drone up there and doing some inspections as well. So
yeah, that'll be awesome. I was actually at that same location just a week and a half ago. The weather wasn't too good, though. I was trying to get some pictures of the lighthouse and all that. But listen, we have a lot of content to share tonight. We have Ron Brown here for a one-on-one interview. So let's get in and say hi to the chat.
All right. Well, as usual,
my wife.
Whoop. Hi. Yep.
That's okay.
We got Bud in the back.
Hi, Bud. How you doing?
Mr. B, Outdoors Misadventures. How you doing?
How you doing, Mr. B?
And look, hey, Paul, you're in there too.
I'm here.
And our buddy Jim Oshar. How you doing?
You got to meet him at the South Florida Drone Meet too, right?
Oh, yeah, I did. And we got Captain Joe America.
Hey, Captain Joe.
How you doing? Little Llama Laura, she popped in to say hi, but she's off to sleep. She's on the other side of the world, so
yeah. Well, thank you for stopping by, Laura.
Texark Drone Guy.
And I believe his name's Mike, right?
Yes, it is.
Yes. How you doing, Mike?
And then we've got let's see here.
My Aunt Donna.
Your Aunt Donna, yeah.
Hi, how you doing? Glad to have you here, as always. We actually went out for ice cream yesterday.
Oh, nice. Mudball Creative.
Hey, Don, how you doing?
Very creative. Ted Nemeth's in the house.
Yeah, welcome, Ted. I think this is Ted's first time here. I actually reached out to him over the past week, and I'll be looking forward to connecting with him and hopefully getting him on the show.
How you doing, Ted? I love your content, man.
Yeah, great content.
Michael Regis.
Hi, Mike. How you doing?
And let's see. Waypoint, New England. Happy
Sunday. You doing?
J Dubs in the house.
Hey, Jay. How you doing?
Hey, made it to the live stream. Nice.
Yeah. Works out good. We got Trent in the house.
Trent. How you doing, Trent?
How you doing, Trent? That guy takes incredible photography.
Here we go, Mr. Sky.
Hey, Joel, how you doing?
Oh, Mainlight Drone. We know who he is.
Christian, how you doing?
Yep.
Good to have you here.
Oh, Max.
How you doing, Max?
How you doing?
I'm sure Tammy's there also. Hi, Tammy.
Yep. And we got Dominic. He's in the back room right now.
Dominic, how you doing, brother?
And the Casilla sandwiches from New Bedford.
Yeah. We got Ron Brown in the house.
Ron Brown, featured guest tonight.
Yeah. Wow, we got a lot of people in the chat.
Down here. Alex Escardo from Florida.
Hey, Alex, how you doing?
Dizzy Dean, FPV.
How you doing?
We got Will Miranda from Mill City Sky.
Hey, Will.
How are you? David Lorenzo.
David Lorenzo, yo.
Yeah, and I've got you a sticker, Paul, from David Lorenzo. He's got the Deadpool sticker.
Oh, sweet. Thank you, David. Thank you for bringing that back, Chris.
Yeah, I got that for you. I asked for it specifically.
Hi, Mandy Joe.
Jerry Franks is
Jerry Franks. How you doing, brother? Wow, we got so many people here. I appreciate you all making the time to come here and see the show on Sunday. It really is awesome.
David Ross, he's in the back room
David.
too.
How you doing, David?
How you doing, Dave?
Gary at Brand Aerials is here too. How you doing?
Yeah, he is. Pop that up on the screen. Whoop.
Sorry.
We're playing tag here. All right, that looks
like we got everybody.
We got Mr.
Oh, we got Jim Gannett in the house too.
Mr. Sleepy Time.
Yeah, he had a busy week. I'm sure he did. So I hope he got well rested and didn't wake up with a very sore neck.
Yeah, how you doing, Jim? We love you.
Yeah. So with that, I think we get Sunday Spectacular going right now. How's that sound?
Do it every time.
Let's do it.
That was excellent.
Yeah, that's good stuff, Al. Really got a good shot there. And, there was a couple of pictures that I came across that I hadn't seen before. I thought they were really cool how we got the city there at nighttime with the water nice and still. It was a nice photo.
He's got the Hillsborough Lighthouse, too, in twilight there, or sunrise. I'm not too sure. As the one with the big poles.
Yeah.
Go up. I was there. I caught some of that. It looks like he's doing a sunset. I'm not too sure if it's over Okeechobee because he's on the east side of Florida. So if he was getting a sunrise, that could be a sunrise, or was it a sunset? That's one thing I'd like to know.
Yeah. Oh, and we have Margie in the house. How you doing, Margie? We got Justin. We got John Flynn here.
Yeah, John Flynn.
And Ray Kelly's in the house. He actually joined the back panel. He'll be joining us for open chat.
How you doing, Ray?
So yeah, so with that, let's bring in our featured guest tonight, and we have Ron Brown. How you doing?
Hey, Ron.
I'm doing fine. Thanks for having me on tonight. I want to welcome everybody in the chats. I see a lot of the great names out there to support many of the live drone shows. I want to thank everybody for stopping and supporting this show tonight. So I'm looking forward to being on with you guys tonight.
Yeah, it's great. And, I know that you were sick coming back from the South Florida drone meet. You said you came down with COVID, and, so I appreciate you making the time to be here.
I forgot to grab my mask for the show tonight.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, there was a couple of people who got sick too. Christopher John got sick on the way back too.
Yeah, and DeMarco's uncle, Kevin, he had a little case of COVID too. So I don't know. Like, I think I got COVID at the Space Center afterwards, but there's other people that had COVID there. So you just never know where this stuff starts or whatever. But I didn't start feeling real sick until days after the event. That's South Florida Drone Meet I'm referring to. So hopefully I didn't infect anybody there,
Well, we were all watching for. I had like a little bit of a sore throat coming back, but it wasn't like anything.
Yeah, I think we all sore throats because you had to talk. You had to talk so loud with all that noise that kind of got your voice maybe more than the COVID.
And then the wind.
Definitely a big event, that's for sure.
Oh, over 100 people there. Chris could tell you. I mean, it was loud at that event between the wind, all the people talking, the drones. I mean, it was almost like being at a rock concert, wasn't it, Chris?
Oh yeah, and the craziest thing is, it's like I'm going to a drone meetup to fly. I flew twice. I flew my Air 2S once and my Mini 2 once, and that was it. Because
I never got the drone out of the bag that day because I got involved in so many conversations. I've flown there before, so I mean, it's I already got footage of the area, so it was nothing new for me. But I never got the drone out.
It's more like a friendship gathering, really. For all the people that you've met online, you feel like you already know them.
Yeah.
Then you get them, you get to, give them fist bumps and shake hands, and it was actually nice to see everybody all at once. And
no matter how many meetups you go to, you always meet more people. Like, even though I've been to a bunch of meetups and know a lot of people, I still met a bunch of new people this time around. So as Chris said, it's more of a almost like a high school reunion or something like that, or a couple of us who call it like drone stock, like Woodstock drone stock,
Yeah, and hopefully next year it's bigger than it was this year. Yeah, next year hopefully it's bigger than it was this year.
They get bigger every year.
Maybe not too. Maybe we don't want it too big. It's already pretty darn big.
I want to see everybody at once with their drone in the air, even if it's in a row. That would just be so cool to see.
Well, this on Sunday they had, I think, the record of 18 or 19 drones lined up in a row out at Goldman Park.
That was cool.
All right, so I think that it's time that we should start our one-on-one interview. I'm going to put Chris out in the back so we can do this, and I'll bring you back in after we have the question segment. See you in a bit, Chris. And here we go, Ron. I got you here. Let's do it.
Okay, back out fresh on the scene, 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 back out fresh on the scene.
So, Ron, thank you for making the time to come here and answer some questions for me. Let's get right into it for the first question.
Let's go.
Please tell us an interesting fact about your hometown of Oxford, Pennsylvania, and share with us your best memory growing up there.
Okay, I'm gonna give you two interesting facts. One's a good one and one's a bad one. Hers Potato Chips it's a big potato chip company regional here in East. Do you have Hers Potato Chips up that far north?
I don't believe so. No.
Yeah, they're a big company on the East Coast, potato chip company. They're like headquarters founded and started in Oxford. So I live right down the road from the actually Nottingham, from the Hers Potato Chip Company. And in the late 70s, we were the location of a infamous news story. There was this gang called the Johnsons who murdered a bunch of people. They stole farm equipment, whatever, and they murdered people that went to my high school. I mean, I only graduated a couple months, and some kids that went to high school got murdered. It was a big national news story. I'm giving you the late 70s, so many people forgot or not old enough. But anyhow, and they even made a movie about it with Sean Penn called A Close Range. It was such a kind of infamous news story from that era. So that's gave you the good one, the bad one, and the best memory growing up. I don't have one particular memory in mind. Just that growing up in a rural kind of farm town in the 60s and 70s, just the good vibes. And I remember all the summers playing out. You play outside in the woods and whatever, and seeing all the gigantic corn and a small town. People were closed tight. You know what I mean? Like there was almost no real crime in my small town. That's kind of it's almost like a movie. That whole vibe, just growing up in that kind of a thing, you can, I can never forget that. I mean, that was the best experience, all those great memories of those days,
Yeah, like growing up.
not one in particular, it's all of them.
Yeah, and I hear that, when you're growing up, you have your experiences, and depending on where you are, your experiences can be completely different. And so I can completely understand that. Yeah. Yes, I like that. All right. In 2008, you visited Newport, Rhode Island as part of your birthday. What was that experience like for you? And if you were to go back, what would you do differently than your first trip?
What the experience is like? It was my first time visiting a Newport, and I didn't really do a lot of research. I didn't know really what I was going to expect when I got there. And basically, my wife had a friend that she kind of grew up with here at the shore. We were going up to visit Nancy, who lived up there, who had relocated up there. And it's been already quite a few years for me. So my big memory of it was the mansions. I mean, I knew about the mansions, but I didn't know all the details. I thoroughly enjoyed visiting those mansions. I don't know how many I actually visit at this point, but you go in and you take the tours, the tour guide tell you the stories, you see the grounds. I mean, I hate to say it, that's kind of my only lasting memory because I love those mansions so much. That's the thing I really remember more than anything else. I'm watching your excellent video that you sent me that you did, I guess, recently from that area. I forgot about those kind of cliff walks and whatever. I did get on those for a little while, but of course, I had no idea how spectacular they were from the other end because I went pre-drones. So I didn't really have that vision that you showed in the video for the drone outside. And I remember visiting like a tennis Hall of Fame museum there for an hour or two around lunchtime one day. We went to, is it some kind of a military base there? We went to some kind of
there's Coast Guard station.
Coast Guard, Coast Guard
Yeah.
thing, yeah.
It's over by Beaver Tail Lighthouse. But just the area in itself is incredible. And usually when I'm asking people questions, it's more so the community can get to know the people. But this question was more on a personal level because I'm less than an hour away from Newport and I visit there a lot. And I know that if you're going there, like you said, and you didn't know much, you didn't do much research, then you missed out on a lot. And I know that when you go back there, if you haven't already, that I know there would be so many things you'd probably want to do differently.
Yeah, the only things I did was what my wife's friend Nancy took us to do. You know what I mean? Because she lived there, so we only went and did what she took us to do. But I like that kind of small town vibe. I grew up in an old town. Newport's an old town or whatever. I just love that kind of small town vibe. I hope it hasn't changed since I've been there, but so I really like kind of the sense of community. I mean, I was kind of in a resort town, but it still had like kind of a good locals vibe to it also.
Yeah, it does. It still has that. I mean, it brings in a lot of tourists, but of course you have the cliff walk. How could you not? That's so gorgeous. Rhode Island has some of the best coastline in this entire country. So, you can see where a lot of people would want to be there. So what would you do differently?
What I would do differently is we drove up on a Friday night from New Jersey, New Jersey Turnpike, driving through New York or whatever. So we get up at about midnight. By the time we get up there, you totally, wiped out from the car ride up or whatever. I could talk to you because you know what I'm talking about, Ride 95 on the East Coast. If you don't know what Ride 95 on the East Coast is, you don't know what we're talking about. But anyhow, so I got a full day there Saturday. Woke up, kind of refreshed, had a full day Saturday, but Sunday, spent about a half day there, and then got in the car to a long ride home. So I mean, first thing I would do is not drive up next time. I'd fly up to the nearest airport or whatever and rent a car because that you feel like a zombie after that drive. So that's and I would spend more time. I mean, basically, I was there like we'll say, a day and a half, and some of that day and a half is sleeping. So
I know, offer money to rent a broom closet. It'll be big enough. Yeah.
Right. So that's what I do different. Fly up and stay longer.
Yeah. As a content creator for multiple YouTube channels, could you tell us a couple of the sacrifices that you've had to make in order to create that content?
Yeah, it's a good question. Not a whole lot, because when I started, like, working less, going into retirement or semi-retirement, like, my, the time I was no longer, the 50 hours a week I was no longer working, I started shifting into the YouTube. So it wasn't that big of a sacrifice, because I was doing a kind of a time change, and I don't have another like big time consuming hobby. Otherwise, I don't golf. I don't own a boat. You know me. I don't have a money pit time consuming second hobby. So I'm better off than a lot of people.
Yeah. So you basically just found different uses for the time where you'd normally have been working.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And my hobby, my one ongoing hobby for most of my life since college was amateur photography. So this was just an extension
Yeah.
the amateur photography I've been doing since I was 20 years old. So, the fly, I didn't get into flying the drones because I thought I wanted to fly a drone. I got into it. I never thought I'd take a video, to be honest. I thought I was just going to take pictures with this drone or whatever, So
Yeah,
to me,
different
I got into,
perspective.
I got into because it was a flying camera for me, not because I wanted to quote unquote fly drones.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Makes sense. Yep. They go hand in hand.
Yep.
What is your process for creating content for YouTube, and what tools do you use to complete a project?
Process for creating content. I mean, I mostly try that. I first started just doing, photography first, of course. Then I got to the video thing. So at first, I was trying to create, cinematic type videos of my area. Trying to get some nice footage and shots of whatever. And then, that kind of gets old a while, because, unless you travel, you can't shoot the same thing over and over again. So I thought, well, let me do some reviews of the products I'm using. So I started doing, reviews, and then people would ask me questions. Well, how'd you do this? How'd you do that? So, well, now I'm going to do a little bit of tutorials. So unlike a channel, a YouTube guru is going to get up here and say, oh, no, you got to do one thing. The only way you're ever going to get any place is to focus on one thing. Nah, I don't care about getting any place. I do I do anything that I want to do or whatever. I don't worry about what's going to make the channel successful or big or whatever. So, so I kind of, that's my process is I do whatever I want, whatever.
Just
And
wing it, however you're
if I'm
feeling.
bored with doing one thing, I'll do something else. The tools, of course, the obvious, the drones, and being a drone addict, that's a new drone every year or whatever, at least, right. And, then for B-roll, action cameras such as a GoPro have been a big help to the channel. I've been an iPhone user, so the iPhones get better and better every year. So they're a big help to the channel getting audio and video. And I use like the DJI Pocket and, so many little cameras like that. And, I had the DJI wireless mic now, but I've had many different mic systems over the years, some successful, some not. I don't do a lot of lighting. I mean, I've got some indoor lights here in the office, but I don't really do night shoots. I don't really use any lighting setups outside per se. But that's kind of it in a nutshell. I think, unless I missed something. You have a second question on that? If I left something out there?
No, it sounds
Okay.
about right. And always, trying the new products is a good thing, because that could be something that could step up part of your content creating process and say, oh, this will make things easier for me, or better, like a better microphone, or just in general. So yeah.
One thing I forgot, for editing, I started out using real simple editors, and now I've worked my way up to Final Cut Pro. But I mean, I've used DaVinci, I've used everything, and I've just settled on Final Cut Pro because I'm on a Mac. Yeah. I mean, if I wasn't on a Mac, I'd probably be using one of the other products. So I mean, all the editors kind of do the same thing. They just, the tool, the controller is a little bit different, but the tools are the same.
Yeah. Now, what would you say set you apart from other content creators in the drone community?
Excuse me, there's my COVID cough. Sets me apart. I guess kind of piggyback on what I said in the other question. I don't really have one particular niche I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to be just drones. I'm not trying to be just GoPros. I'm not, just trying to be one thing. All this stuff kind of interests me. I try to integrate it all into one channel. Now, people say, well, that's not the way to go. If you want to have a successful YouTube channel, you got to focus on one thing. Well, I don't do that, because I don't enjoy that. So again, it has to be part is I don't really have one niche. I do a lot of different things.
Yeah. And for me, I see it as a lot of it being your personality. You seem you seem like very approachable. Like if I seen you out flying, I would want to approach you and talk to you. And, I think you do a good job explaining things. So, and like you said, you do a mix of, and if you look through your YouTube channel, like I was doing over the past week, you see like the progression, how things change. You were doing something here, and then for a little while you were doing something else. So, and that's good because you're kind of going with it and, giving people something different all the time.
And keeps me engaged too, not doing the same thing all the time.
Yeah, exactly. It keeps you, you don't get bored of it. Could you name 3 people in the drone community who have inspired you to become a better pilot and or content creator over the last 5 years?
That's a good question. I'm kind of going to go old school when you hear. One of the first drone people I really started watching a lot was Billy Kyle. So I'm going to say Billy Kyle. And Billy and I kind of have a bond a little bit. I mean, even though I'm old enough to be Billy's grandfather, Billy and I, he grew up in Westchester, PA. I grew up in Austin. We grew up a half hour from each other. So in Billy's early days when he was at home, I knew most of his flying locations. They were all familiar to me. So we kind of basically grew up in the same area, like 4 years apart or something like that. But so Billy, Billy does such great work as far as he gets great cinematic videos, great tutorials, he does great reviews, he does all the things that I want to do better than I do. So he still kind of inspires me to this day with his thing. And I'm going to throw 2 other older names out at you. Bill Thomas from Coast to Coast Drones. Bill is one of the first people to get me involved in live streaming. I never thought I'd ever want to do any live streaming on YouTube. I never thought so. I used to watch his show, and eventually we talked, and he said, come on the show, and I did. And then Bill, the drone reviewer, same thing. He was on the show when I was on the show, so he got me in his show eventually. So because of the Bill Thomas and Bill, the drone reviewer, I got into all this kind of live streaming, which otherwise I may have never done on my own. I mean, they're the ones that said you should do your own show.
Yeah. And so, yeah, those are some good names. And I definitely agree with Billy Kyle. He was one of the first people that I seen videos for when I was going to buy a drone, because he did, he does a lot of content just like you, where he talks about different products. And, so I did learn a lot from him early on, and I still, watch his videos. And, yeah, I can see where you would look up to him. And I wonder if he knows that. Hopefully he sees this and he sees that you look up to him, because he probably looks up to you,
I mean, I actually, I've actually met Billy, or I know Billy. And Billy, even though Billy is like people think he's a big star, he's still very receptive. You know what I mean? He doesn't act like he's a big,
he's humble
or anything. Yeah.
Good. Okay. All right. This one's a little statsy. Okay. 6 years ago, you posted your first. Oh, sorry, this one isn't that question, but 6 years ago, you posted your first video review of a drone accessory, the Think Tank Airport Helipack. Were your plans at that time to become a product reviewer on YouTube, or did that just happen organically?
Yeah, organically. The Think Tank Airport Helipack. This is a good story. So this is when there was no foldable drone yet. There was no Mavic Pro yet or whatever. So the Phantom 4 was my travel drone. It was my only drone. Again, there was no such thing as a small drone. So I was going to a British Virgin Island called USDS. Like, it's real small. Almost nobody's ever heard of it. And so I wanted to take the Phantom 4 with me because it was a spectacular location. So I did my research, and I found this Think Tank Airport Helipack was the best case for a Phantom. So, I mean, this thing huge, I load up, took it there, whatever. But I think even before I left, I made the video. I said, well, maybe somebody else would want to do something like this. Maybe I'll make a little video about this backpack here, because there wasn't really a lot of information on it. So I made the little video before I left, packed it up. So, and so that just happened or whatever. And then after that, I just started making more, reviews of products that I purchased. And believe me, if you see me review a product on my channel and it costs $50 or more, I bought it myself. The only thing that I reviewed in the channel that I didn't buy, people send me, cheap little, like, and I don't mean cheap as a bad, but inexpensive is the right word, prop guards and landing legs and things like that. I get that stuff free, but I don't get anything, like a drone bag or like something like this for free. So yeah, that's kind of just how it started. Because again, I got a new product. I said if I like the product, I might as well review it.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people that are in the chat, throwing out some love for that, Phantom. There's a lot of people that love it, and I can see why. I've never owned one, but I've come across.
Let him say that when I was trying to carry through customs on Yost Van Dyke.
Oh boy, yeah. So this is the Statsy one. 4 years ago, you had the first flight test of the Hubsan Zeno video on YouTube. It was at this point your channel had a significant increase in views. Any idea why? And the stats that I came up with is I did an average of views from the 20 videos before that video and the 20 videos after that video. And before the video, you had a total of 6,837 views for an average of 341 views per video. The next 20 videos, you got almost 34,000 views with almost 1,700 views per video. So that's a pretty significant increase. And I'm wondering what happened. Were you featured on a show, or was it just the Zeno was so popular? People,
I can tell you exactly why. Why most people get a big jump, on YouTube, especially in the old days. Things have changed now. But when they get a product ahead of anybody else, like somebody's set a DJI drone, and they have it ahead of time, and they put their videos up early, they suck up all the views early. Excuse me. Sorry, folks. I'm going to have this call for the next month, so I didn't want to cancel the show on Paul today. So, they would suck up all the views because they get the product a couple weeks ahead of time, right? So, say even if I would get the same product as a bigger channel would get, I wouldn't get near the views beforehand because the other people have already had their videos out and they sucked all the wind out of the, the product of the early views. So this Zeno came out. No big YouTube channels got it. It was only maybe like 10 or 12 of us in the US that had YouTube channels that bought the thing on our own. So when we put this thing out, we were getting all those first views that the big channels would usually get because we're the only ones that had it. So I no matter how good or bad my video was, somebody was watching it because I was maybe the only guy that put a video up on it that day or that week.
Yeah.
And remember, the Hubsan Zeno came out in the air, you said 4 years ago. It was a $300 GPS drone with a 3-axis gimbal and a 4K camera. In those days, and it cost like $300. In those days, there was no mini drones. There were no cheap GPS drones. Like if you wanted that type of features on a DJI drone, you were paying like $1,000. So that price point was a big deal in that area. Now, once the DJI Mini 1 came out and lowered the bar in the price range, the whole game changed. The
I get you.
Staying out as being that great of a buy, but a $300 drone in that air compared to the price of the competition, it was a fraction of the cost.
Yeah, that's great. I can understand that, trying to get a jump out there and being a good budget camera with a lot of features. And, that's cool how they did that. As a product reviewer, which brand of drone accessory manufacturers has been the most consistent and reliable in your opinion? And can you give us some examples of why?
That's a tough question. Product reviewer, and I don't even really consider myself a product reviewer. The only products I really sponsored things I do is, again, small things like Start RC and a couple other small people like that send me, real affordable gear. And for the most part, all that stuff's kind of, work well. I mean, its main benefit is it doesn't cost much. You can buy similar things from PJI Tech or something like that, and it's double the money, but I mean, with a prop guard and things like that, I mean, it's not a lot to review. I'm more of a shower of the product than a reviewer. Now an accessory for drones like I would say ND filters, but that's another tough thing. I'm more of a shower of the ND filters. It's not like the ND filters don't work or whatever. It's not like a drone where I can say, well, this feature doesn't really work right, or this drone doesn't fly well. I mean, most of the accessories, it's more or less just showing. It's rare when accessory falls apart in the first use or something.
So you're saying it more depends on what you need. Different companies make different things that work better. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, it's all dependent on your price point. If your price point is you're buying a prop guard or something like that, or a propeller guard or whatever, and it costs $10, probably anybody's $10 prop guard is probably going to be pretty good. And if somebody's charging you $50 for like a prop guard or whatever, well, you may want to rethink your price point there.
Yeah. Yeah, true that. So it depends on the price, and
Yeah,
different
because
companies.
ND filters are a different story. You could spend up to $200 or better on ND filters on some of the more expensive drones. And again, Freewell's a name everybody knows, but there's other people out there that make them. And I'm one of those people. I don't necessarily feel the Freewells are $100 better than the competition, but that's all
Yeah.
opinion. It's all
Yeah, it's
opinion.
all up to people's opinion. Good answer. All right. If YouTube allowed you to make one change to their platform, what would you change and why?
Oh, I got this one for you.
Let's do it.
Okay, those takedown claims on music. Okay, what happens now is you can have a video up and it could have music in, and lots of times, especially in your old days, I would just use I'd be an Apple iMovie, and I would just use the canned music that Apple gives you, and that you could do anything you want with that music. Well, somebody would put content claim in for the canned Apple music, and YouTube, unlike the U.S., where you have to be you're innocent until proven guilty, on YouTube, if somebody puts a content claim on your music, you're guilty until you prove yourself innocent or whatever. And nobody with a small channel like me is going to take the time and resources it takes to fight that content claim, whatever. I mean, I'm making, even off the successful video, I'm making pennies or whatever, right? I mean, I'm not going to spend hours fighting it. So I just eliminate the music. But that YouTube lets any Tom, Dick, and Harry come along and claim something in your videos, theirs or whatever, without doing any research from their end. Shame on YouTube. Shame on Google for doing that to their users.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that, because once you get that claim on there, they won't spread your video, and even when the claim's removed, you've lost the steam on that video. The analytics always seem to be on the lower end there.
Yeah. So even if, say for instance, even if you had a YouTube enemy, right, and they just wanted to slow your roll down your YouTube channel, they could just randomly throw a content claim up, on any music. It could be music. You could be singing your music yourself of a song you wrote or whatever. They could put a content claim up on that.
Yeah. Well, so I agree with you there 100%. So, that concludes the 10 questions that I've had for you. And we have a surprise guest here to ask you their own questions. And I'll tell you, man, this person had to fight through some crazy stuff to get here. So let's play their intro and bring them in.
I have a question for you, Ron Brown.
Hey, would you keep it down up there? My pet hippopotamus is trying to sleep.
Oh,
I think
man.
we're bringing a superhero in tonight.
Oh, that was great.
DeMarco, thank you. That was so much fun to make.
Oh, man, that is hilarious. My kids are gonna love it. Hey, Wedge, how you doing? Good to meet you.
Yeah, good to meet you too. So listen, I brought you in so you could ask your own question for Ron, and I'm going to pull your question up and let you ask away.
I get to ask the boss the question. The boss of Drone Nation a question. So where's my W-2? Where's my 1099?
Well, we're not paying taxes this year. But don't tell anybody at the IRS.
No. Here's a serious question. Where do you think the drone, I wouldn't say community, but like drones will be at, was it 5 years from now? What do you think it'll be?
Is the hobby going towards more Skydio type drones or drones of DJI drones? Well, boy, I could be the real voice of doom here and say, well, 5 years from now, none of us will be flying with the rules and regulations and so on or whatever. We'll kind of all be grounded by remote ID and vans full of Karens or whatever. But I think we'll find a way to work through all the struggles that are going against the hobbyist drone pilot here. I hate to say it, but it may be a smaller community 5 years from now, because I think we will lose people starting in September with all the rules and regs coming in. I hope I'm wrong. I'm not saying that in a that I want to see that happen, but I think we will see the drone community kind of slim down a little bit again come September 2023. But I think we'll be able to find common ground with all the people that want to do drone deliveries and drone taxis and whatever. I think we'll be able to eke out a way to sustain our hobby, through against all the commercial entities trying to take that below 400 airspace from us. But call me an optimist.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, that was great. DeMarco, I appreciate you joining the panel to come and ask him that question. You're welcome to stay when we bring in the panel for open chat.
Oh, real quick, Paul, I didn't answer his whole question. Skydio won't even be in the, there'll only be commercial drones in 5 years.
Oh, will they be more toward
Enterprise drones? They won't. Skydios won't have a hobbyist drone in 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I just wanted to answer the whole question.
Yeah, I'm worried about where DJI will be 5 years from now in the United States because of what's going on. Because I think that they make a reliable product that's has a lot of safety features, especially their lower end drones. You really get more bang for your buck with DJI product, I think. Provided you can get past the whole geofencing issues and stuff like that. But as just a hobbyist, just going out and finding places to fly, there's plenty of ways to just fly where you don't have to worry about requesting airspace and all that.
Yeah, exactly. I feel bad for the guy whose backyard's in a geo space. But to tell you the truth, I don't fly in my backyard anyways. Even my backyard was in a geo zone. There's nothing to see in my backyard anyways.
Yeah.
So, but I think there's again, if you're really a hobbyist, you'll find ways to fly that aren't that are class G and not geo zoned.
Yeah.
And you could sneak an all-tel into your bag.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know with because it's mainly the large companies who are trying to do this drone delivery, Walmart, what is it, Target, Amazon, stuff like that. I mean, the smaller companies can't afford it, and like even Walmart, they can't get it right now.
Yeah. Hi, Andrew. By the way, Andrew's in the chat. Just wanted to say hi.
Hello, Andrew.
Jones also. So
Hello,
listen, we're running, getting close. It's 8:42. So I want to move forward. I know I had some pictures I wanted to show you and ask you questions about. I think we can skip past that. I want to bring in the chat panel and see what they have to add. Plus, we have best of the rest feature to do. So let's start bringing some people in. We'll bring back in our co-host, NB Drones. How you doing? Oh, sorry, NB Cranes today.
NB Cranes. See? Cranes.
We got Bud Bieber. How you doing, Bud?
I'm doing good.
Hey, bud.
We got Dominic.
Hello, down.
Dominic.
Hey, down under.
David.
Hello, David.
Hello,
everybody.
Jim.
Hello, Jim.
And Captain Ray Kelly.
And the Honorable Captain Ray.
How's everybody?
Hey.
Captain
Doing
Ray.
good, Captain Ray.
From sunny Florida.
We're not worthy. No.
Really. All right, so with that, I'm going to play Captain Ray's favorite section of the show. Let's do best of the rest.
Go.
Listen.
Yeah, that's
Wow. A lot of them, Paul.
In 1 week, there were so many people who posted content to the group. I couldn't believe it. I had to fill that entire song, and I couldn't even feature my own picture or my wife's picture. I just made sure to get my sons in there because it was just too many people, and it would have went longer than the song. So
that was a good picture.
Ray, did you see that picture of Dolman Park?
I know. Unbelievable.
Unreal is right.
Yeah, that
I
was
kind of
some
like the
incredible.
pictures.
I mean, they're all incredible, really. When you look at one, you say, wow.
They were kind of cool.
You see
Sorry, what was that, David?
I said that overhead of all those like ballerina dancers, I thought was really cool.
Michael Hallsworth, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd like to
I've
meet
got
all of
something
He is
similar
really
to that
good.
at a wedding coming up in July, so I'm taking note of that one.
Yeah, that was great. So I appreciate everybody who shared content in the group.
You learn so much looking at the other people's photos and videos.
Oh, it's
Really
amazing.
do.
You're right, Ray. Absolutely. Yep.
I learned that in the
those photos you
Midwest.
showed earlier from Al Cicerone they were very good too.
Oh,
Yeah, by the way, I'm in touch with him. He says, Paul, and Chris, thank you very much for the honor.
And I got to hang out with Al and Ray in Florida. And Al's a great guy. If you don't know Al, you should get to know him.
He's actually having dessert at a restaurant right now.
Oh, of course. And probably ballroom dancing later on, Ray.
Yeah, you're right, Ron.
So Andrew wants me to show him the picture I had, so I'm going to post it for him here.
Yeah, let's see yours.
Oh, yeah.
That's
That is amazing.
This is
I was
Jay
up there
Leno's
earlier
house.
this
This is
week.
in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
That is a fantastic place to fly.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
hopefully,
it
Paul,
really
you can
is.
get us
Yeah,
an
Jim and I
invite
have
to have
been there.
dinner there one night.
David Ross posted a picture of Taylor Swift's house.
Yeah, I did. Yep.
Yeah.
Gotta go.
Oh, Taylor Swift is in Rhode Island?
I actually painted some of her house.
Did you really?
They have a contract with her house.
So you put the white color on. You whitewashed that place then, huh?
No, I just went in for a touch-up.
She's available.
I wouldn't want it. Sorry, bud.
So now, Paul and Chris, you see what shirt I'm wearing?
Oh, yeah, I
Yes,
see
do.
it.
The Patriots.
Too, Ray.
You're back home, right, Ray?
Oh, all
No,
right,
not
Ray.
yet. Not yet.
Not yet, but I've been seeing you posting some Long Island pics.
Yeah.
Yep.
So listen, Jerry Frank sent me a picture this week, and I wanted to share it with everybody. Here he is with his
Yeah.
USDS coffee mug. I
Very
appreciate
nice.
that he sent it to us. So with that said, I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to do the custom mug giveaway. So hashtag USDS in the chat. USA only, please. Shipping reasons.
Hopefully you don't get one with backwards writing like he did.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Hey, while we're here, Ron Brown, can I ask you a question?
Go right ahead.
So you say you started in photography. I assume film and back in the good old days?
Yeah, well, we'll say circa 1980 at the University of Delaware.
You went to school then, or you were just...
Yeah, college age. I was probably about 19 or 20 when I first took my first photography class. My first real camera that I purchased was a Canon AE1.
Had one?
Yeah.
So, so you studied then photography, I assume?
Yeah, well, studied in some way, as school-wise, just in college, but, been amateur, reading and listening to many photographers and experts over the years. So you could say studying on my own, yes. And
Cool.
then got into digital in the 2000s.
Right.
All right, so we have 17 entries. Hashtag USDS in the chat for a custom mug giveaway. I'm going to let this run for one more minute, and then I'm going to roll it.
Yeah, guys, we got 44 people watching right now.
Good luck, everybody.
I already got
Hashtag it.
So, Dominic, you awake yet?
Yeah, I'm awake.
Okay, just checking.
I'm trying to be.
You look like you were sleeping.
No, but not today.
Yeah, Tim, we saw you. We were trying to wake you up back last week, and
Yeah, there was nothing doing.
I've been unemployed for a month, but I've been never so busy in my entire life. It's
I
crazy.
hear you got that project going on at your house still, right?
Yeah, and I start my new job, my new career tomorrow.
Oh, that's
Nice.
great.
All right. How'd it go, Jim?
All
Good
right,
luck.
someone give me a drum roll.
Good luck.
Good luck,
All right,
everyone.
good luck, everybody.
Who's gonna win it? Who's gonna win it?
Johnny. I think Johnny's going to win.
Hey,
Whoa.
Lee, how you doing,
there
Lee?
you go.
Awesome.
Come on, huh?
Congratulations.
Hooray!
Do me a favor, send me your address on Facebook Messenger, and I will ship you out a mug tomorrow, sir.
Cool.
Yeah, he's got a lot of good photos he's been posting of his trip down to Florida. I mean, guys, go check out Lee Besing, Yellow
Yep.
Road Drones, definitely.
Oh yeah, oh he's got a lot of great stuff out there.
Yeah.
You guys should have seen him flying the Avata around the hotel lobby at the Hampton, right, Ray?
I know. I tell you.
I
And,
saw it.
another thing about Lee, he's such a nice guy, really.
Oh
And
yeah,
he's very knowledgeable, too.
Yes.
Really.
yeah. I had a blast down there, and I mean, I'm still reveling in the joy I felt down there. I mean, it's just like all the love that I felt from all my friends down there, seeing them all at once. It was just like an incredible experience, and if you
awesome.
haven't gone down there yet, need to get down there next year. April 4th, right? Is it?
April 6th, but
April
5th,
6th.
it's really a 4-day event, the 5th to the 8th, but the main day of flying is April 6th, Saturday.
I felt so great down there. It was just like,
Chris,
know,
did
You
you,
said you
did
had
you
over
drive
100.
down?
what's
You had
that?
over
Did you drive
100.
down, Chris?
No. I drove down to Florida last year, not for the meetup, but to meet some relatives, and no more. I will never drive down there again. Or back.
Terrible drive, Chris. It really is.
The
Hey,
flight
Ben.
quick.
is that Barry?
Hi, Johnny.
Chris, tell me about the T-shirt you wore at the meetup.
Yeah, if anybody really doesn't know, there are probably a few pictures on the internet. But since I started flying, I've been called Barry because this guy, any journalist, he's now New England Lighthouses. I used to be called Barry because our names were kind of similar. He's any journalist, I'm NB Drones, and we did the same kind of content around New Bedford. So everybody
Do
would
you
call
look
me
anything
Barry.
like Barry?
No.
Oh, I have hair. So no, I've been called Barry many times, and I thought it would be a little funny to, put in a little thing on the back of my T-shirt that said "I'm not Barry," so nobody calls me Barry. But everybody called me Barry just because of the T-shirt.
Yep.
Chris,
The T-shirt was definitely an eye catcher.
And I've been called Paul many times on the internet.
Well, it was funny because Chris was live streaming at an event locally last year, and we were talking during the live, and he was like, "I hope nobody calls me Barry," because people kept calling him Barry, and he's talking to this guy that he had seen before, and when he said bye, he said, "Bye, Barry."
Yeah, he's actually a DJ for a local radio station up here.
That was good.
I think Johnny's going to start making new kind of T-shirts. I think so. I'm telling you.
I'm changing my T-shirt to "I'm not Paul or Barry."
Yeah.
Hey, Chris.
I want a T-shirt that says "I'm not Captain Ray" or.
Chris,
Yeah.
what it's worth, you got a better goatee than Barry does.
He's got the,
All right. Well, listen, we have
Against Barry, I love the guy, man.
No,
Yeah,
he's all right.
we have 5 minutes left, and I like to go around and give everybody a chance, to promote what they want to promote and say what they want to say. So I first want to start by saying we had over 50 viewers tonight. I really appreciate everybody who took the time to come out here and watch the show. Put a lot of
Hit
time.
that
and
like
effort.
button.
Yeah, put a lot of time and effort into, getting an interview good enough to get Ron in and ask him some questions. So I appreciate him being here. So with that, I'm going to bring in the first person, and I'm going to let Jim tell us what's going on because he missed us last week because he was sleeping.
Sleeping on the job. Don't do that tomorrow.
I have to apologize. Like I said, I've been unemployed for a month, but I've been so busy.
Echo device.
Crazy.
We'll try restarting them. Unplug both of them, then plug the router back in. Wait 30
That
seconds.
noise.
Once the router is back on and
Your router's talking to you.
That is not mine.
Oh, that was David's.
Oh,
Anyway,
Oh,
my days of free flying time is over. Start a new job. I'm not going to get a whole lot more fleet flying time in, but I've had a lot of fun the last month. Hopefully, I can get some of that out on video.
yeah, we'd like to see it.
Yeah, great. And I appreciate having you here as always, Jim. You know, we'll look to get together soon so we can go flying together.
So remember, I got these for you. These Avada filters, Jim.
I know, Chris. I'm waiting. We got to get together, buddy.
All right, Jim. So you have yourself a good night,
All
brother,
right.
okay?
You guys, great. Thanks.
Bye. We're going to go with Dominic.
Hey, Dominic.
Okay. I'm just going to promote, as I usually do, mental health, my channel, and hopefully Uncle Bill's toys. Hopefully Bill's power is back on. So,
oh yeah,
Yeah, they had a
we'll see
bad
how
storm
it
up
goes.
there.
He was
They did.
having terrible storms. He tried to get on Paul Murray's stream, and it was he was telling us it was really nasty. So we'll see how it goes. If not, I'm up then.
All right, Dominic. Well, thank you for joining the stream tonight. I appreciate having you here as always,
Hey,
brother.
Dominic.
Yeah.
Have yourself a good night.
Yeah, pray for the guys down in Fort Lauderdale. They had a really bad
Oh,
storm.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was like 2 feet of rain, I heard.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Bud.
Maddie was telling me.
Sorry, Chris.
Sorry. No, Maddie was just showing. He showed a video of cars submerged in front of his house. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, crazy weather. Well, being that NB cranes, I've seen these pictures of these windmills going in. I do have a windmill farm about a half-hour drive from here. I'm gonna go see if I can get some shots of that. It'll be something different. Won't be a golf course or my farm, but anyway, thanks again. Great show. See y'all.
All right,
Hey,
thanks,
Bud.
Bud.
But
Hey,
hold on for a
but-
second. But I recognize an accent coming from you. Where are you from?
You guess.
I did guess. Yes, Chicago.
Well,
Suburbs.
almost.
Suburbs.
I'm 50 miles southwest of Chicago. I live out in Kettle County, but yeah, I have a Midwestern.
I can tell. I can tell. I grew up in the western suburbs.
Where at?
Glendale Heights.
Oh yeah, I'm in Oswego.
Oswego, yes, yeah.
I'm further south, but yay.
I recognize.
Always nice to talk to a former neighbor. Where you at now?
Arkansas now, for work.
Even better, you're out of Illinois.
I missed the food. That's it. That's it.
And
Oh,
Bud,
I won't argue that. You got a
Yeah,
good point there.
Bud,
Anyway, you did great tonight, DeMarco.
yeah, DeMarco,
Yeah, sir.
that was awesome.
Thanks
I
again,
love the way
Paul.
he
Chris.
flew
All right,
in.
Bud. Have yourself a good night, brother. Appreciate
Yeah,
having
See
you
you
here.
guys.
Have a good one, bud.
And we're going to go with Captain Ray Kelly.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, thank you for the invite again, Paul and Chris. You know, you guys got one of the best shows on YouTube right now. I have to say, I love your format. You had a great guest on tonight with Ron. You know, you're one-on-one. That's an amazing segment. You learn so much about the guest when you do that. But the only thing I want to promote is I got a great show on tomorrow night, 6 p.m. And my two guests are going to be Paul Brown and his son Benjamin Brown. And I'm looking forward to it. You know, I really am. So thank you, Paul.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate having you here, Ray, and I'm looking forward to being on your show tomorrow night with Benjamin. Should be interesting, to say the least. So we will see you then.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Is he gonna have his own camera?
See you, Cap.
No, he's going to be here with me.
All
We're going
right.
to work that out, yeah. All right, Ray. Have a good night, brother.
All right.
Good night,
Have a
Ray.
good one.
Have a good night, kid.
And DeMarco.
Oh,
What do you
thanks
wanna
for having
promote?
me, Mitch. Good to be here for the first time. It's good to put faces with the names, and I don't post a lot of videos at all. So join us Monday at 8 Eastern, excuse me, at 9 Eastern on Drone Nation. So
Sounds good. Yeah.
Thanks for your support tonight, DeMarco.
sure.
Yeah. Now, listen, the people in your city over there sounded like they needed some serious help. You got some work to do.
For what?
all the people in that city were screaming.
Oh. Hey, don't have twins when you're 40.
Yeah. And I just want to say at the beginning of that clip, the name of the city was Middelfart, DeMarco. But there's actually a place in Denmark called Middelfart. So I was just playing on that in your name. So
Oh, really?
No, I thought that was cool.
That's awesome.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Good
All
night.
right, DeMarco, have yourself a good night,
Good
brother.
night.
Appreciate having you here. And we got the man of the hour, Ron Brown. I'm going to give you the floor. You can say what you want to say, promote what you want to promote.
First of all, I want to give a set of thought and prayers out for everybody in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I know we got Matty's Drone World is down there, and he's been going through a lot with flooding and power outages. So hopefully they get that situation resolved. Pronto down there. I don't know what could be done, pumping or whatever, but I hope to get those people, back to living their best life down there in Fort Lauderdale. And promote Drone Nation. Mark already did it. Drone Nation tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Michael Wright's going to be one of our guests tomorrow night. We have a mystery guest coming on also. I can't reveal the names now due to the contractual issues here. But I want to shout out the Adventures Captain Ray. He did it too, but he runs a great show on Monday nights also. So I'll be looking forward to seeing Paul on that show tomorrow night. So I just thanks again, Paul and Chris, for having me on the show tonight. I really enjoyed being here. Met a lot of great people in the cast tonight. The chat, of course, is very supportive out there as usual. And that's about it.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much for being here, Ron. I appreciate, having you.
Welcome.
And I thought that, asking you some questions would give, the community maybe a little more insight to who Ron Brown is. So hopefully we succeeded in that tonight. And I really do appreciate you giving us your time, knowing that you're trying to recover from a COVID diagnosis. So, good on you.
No problem.
With that, I'll say have a good night, Ron. I appreciate having you here.
Ron.
Good night.
And I'm going to give you the floor, Chris.
I have nothing much to say except that I have a job opportunity that I'm going to be going for an interview, meeting the president and the vice president of the company. And I mentioned that I fly drones, and hopefully this place behind me here, they're going to be bringing in the wind farm components, and hopefully I'll be inspecting them, and maybe I can get my 107 and do a little bit of inspecting with the drone. And I also have a new short up on my channel. It's actually a little few clips of the area there, and definitely that's what's in my agenda.
All right, good. Yeah.
How about you, Paul? You got something you want to tell us?
Yeah, all the time I got things to say. Well, first I want to remind everybody that the stream will now be available in 1080p, so no more 720, foggy picture. So I've upgraded that. And I always like to remind people about mental health. A lot of people go through things silently, and they don't think that there are people out there willing to listen or willing to help. You don't have to do it alone. You can dial 988. You can call a friend. You can call a member of the community. You can reach out. There will always be somebody willing to talk to you and help you out. So don't do it alone. It just makes no sense. You need help, get it. And with that, I want to thank everybody for joining the stream. I want to remind you, if you hit that like button, if you're not subscribed to my channel or the guest on the show, subscribe to their channels. After the show, there'll be timestamps in the description so you can find the content that you want to find on replay. And with that, I'm going to play the outro. And before I get off here tonight, I just got to say, man, DeMarco, that fart that you let off and that intro, that was incredible. You blew away the next town.
We smelt it across the country.